Now, Fat Brix was a very emotional person, but he was not aware of what was happening inside of him. So when he was angry, when he was frustrated, when he was sad, he would do things in order to try to escape these emotions, or he would make bad decisions like the decision he made that landed him in deep trouble with the law and got him a felony robbery charge. What up, squad? Welcome back to the channel. So look, if this video found you, there's probably something special here for you specifically. This video is not going to be for a lot of people on my channel, but I want you to watch this with an open mind and an open heart. You got to understand that this is practical stuff that may sound a little out there, but stay with me, because if you apply this stuff, if you internalize this information and apply it, you're going to unlock a different part of yourself that's going to make any goal, whether that's weight loss, whether you're trying to make money, whatever it may be, it's going to unlock a part of you that's going to give you instant access to these goals. All right. So hit the thumbs up right now. This is going to be a good video. This is actually going to be a series. I'm going to break this up into a few different videos so that I can really get into the meat and potatoes and really give you guys a lot of value. Just a heads up, I got my laptop right here. I'm going to be looking down at my notes. I spent a lot of time preparing for this video, so I just want to make sure I don't miss any points. So if I look down, it's because I'm reading my notes. I'm gonna keep it 100. If you're here because you want to transform your body, you want to make a bunch of money, you want to have a healthy relationship, whatever your goals are, the one most important thing that you need to know in order to reach those goals, the main thing you need to know is your motherfucking self. You have to know yourself. Knowledge of self, self-awareness is one of the most important ingredients to achieving anything in life, to living a meaningful life of any kind. You have to know yourself, bro. And sis, I know there's a few women who watch this channel, but listen, you have to know yourself. And I always thought I knew myself. You may be thinking to yourself, Brix, I know myself. But do you really? And I'm gonna be using a lot of examples from Fat Brix days, because Fat Brix thought he knew himself, and it wasn't until he went on this journey that he really discovered who he was. And once he discovered who he was and he learned himself, that's when he had access to the control panels of his life that gave him access to this version of himself, that gave him access to the version of himself who is making money, who has a healthy relationship, who has freedom, right? So again, pay close attention to this stuff, because this is gold. Let me tell you exactly why self-awareness is important. If you want to make any changes of your life, you have to be able to manage your emotions. So humans, we're really emotional creatures, and a lot of men, we've been taught not to honor our emotions. We've been taught to suppress our emotions, and that's not what emotional management is. It's being aware of your emotions while also separating yourself from them in order to make the decisions that align with what you're trying to achieve. Your thoughts create your emotions inspire your behaviors. And your behaviors, or your choices, the things you do, is what creates your reality. That's what creates your body. That's what creates the status of your relationship. That's what creates your financial situations. It's your behaviors. It's what you actually do. Another reason why self-awareness is super important. When you know yourself, you can make decisions that align you with your own self. And I'll get more into this a little bit later in the videos. When you make decisions, when you behave in a way that aligns with yourself, you invite more peace into your life. And that goes for the friends you choose, the career path you choose, the women or the men you decide to date. These are all of the decisions that we make that either will bring us peace or will take our peace away from ourselves. But if we don't know ourselves, if we don't know our values, and again, I'll get into that, then we can't make decisions, or we can't behave in a way that honors who we really are. And the third reason why self-awareness or knowledge of self is super important, it's the source of confidence, for me especially. I know myself. That's why I can show up in a room or in a situation or in a conversation with confidence. No one's going to shake me. No one's going to talk me out of what I know about myself. No one's going to persuade me to do something or feel something that is out of alignment with myself, because I am confident in what I know about myself and what I want and what works for me and what doesn't work for me, right? So knowledge of self gives you this confidence that people will feel, and it's going to give you the courage to take control of your life. It's going to give you the fuel and the willpower to develop discipline so that you can achieve the things that you want to achieve with your life. Again, whether it's weight loss, money, relationships, whatever's going to bring you fulfillment, joy, and peace. All right, so let's define what knowledge of self is. I'm using the term knowledge of self and self-awareness interchangeably, and for this video, let's say that they mean the same thing. So knowledge of self is the awareness of one's emotions, personal values, strengths and weaknesses, and motivations. And I'm gonna break down each one of these really briefly, but again, this is gonna be a series where I'll go deeper into each of these and other topics as it relates to knowledge of self and self-awareness. So awareness of one's emotions. Humans are extremely emotional creatures. This is what separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom, but you have to know how to manage your emotions. You have to be aware of what's happening on the inside of you. You have to be able to stop in a moment, check in with yourself. Now, there's several practices and there's several rituals that I personally have that sharpens my emotional awareness and my emotional intelligence. And again, we'll get into that in other videos in this series. So the first pillar of self-awareness is emotional awareness, being aware of what you're feeling and what thoughts are causing these emotions and what to do when you're feeling these things and what not to do. Because a lot of the times when we're in these heightened emotional states, we make decisions that may not take us in the direction in life that we want to go. Now, Fat Brix was a very emotional person, but he was not aware of what was happening inside of him. So when he was angry, when he was frustrated, when he was sad, he would do things in order to try to escape these emotions, or he would make bad decisions like the decision he made that landed him in deep trouble with the law and got him a felony robbery charge. It was because he was not aware when his emotions were making the decisions and not his true higher self, right? We have our higher self and our lower self. My higher self usually makes decisions based on logic, based on reason, based on alignment with where I want to go in life or what I want to achieve. My lower self is the one that's usually making decisions based on what I'm feeling in the moment, right? If I'm angry, I may smack somebody, right? So that's not what we want. We don't want our lower self, our emotional self, making these decisions. We want to make these decisions from a very clear-headed, logical place. All right, so the next element of knowledge of self is knowing your personal values. Now, this is a big one. This one is a big one. I actually did an exercise where I identified my personal values, and it gave me a lot of information. It gave me a lot of information. I was able to look at situations in my life that took away my peace, that took me out of alignment with myself. And it was because I didn't make these decisions considering my personal values. Now, what are personal values?
Personal values are the things that are important to us, the characteristics and behaviors that motivate us and guide our decisions. They are the things that you find immensely important. Your values shape who you perceive yourself to be.
If, let's say, for instance, if you value freedom, then making a decision to get into a committed relationship with a woman who is very controlling, that wouldn't align you with your personal values. So that's not a decision that you should make, right? So personally, I value freedom. I value trust. I value integrity. I'm a man of integrity, right? So I wouldn't make decisions that takes me out of integrity. I wouldn't make a decision where I am in a situation where I am forced to lie or to be honest or to steal something. Like that would take me out of integrity, right? So I don't make decisions that put me in that situation. Another one of my personal values is dependability, right? I've attached being dependable to my identity, right? So things like being late, having to go back on my word, these are things that put me out of alignment with my personal values, right? Which oftentimes take away my peace. It makes me sad. It puts me in an emotional state that I don't like to be in, or when I make decisions that conflict with my personal values. So identify what your personal values are. I'm gonna put a list of personal values right here on the screen. You can screenshot this. I will also put this list in the description below. Identify what your personal values are, and I'm gonna do a separate video on personal values where we can actually go through this process together. And once I make that video, of course, I will link that in the description below. All right, so the next item, strengths and weaknesses. In order to know yourself, you have to be honest with yourself about what you're good at and what you're not good at. This is not always a comfortable thing to admit, right? I'm not the best writer, right? That's a weakness of mine. So I either have to delegate that in my business, or I can choose to invest the time into working on that. If you know communication is not your strength, right? You may need to communicate that to your partner, like, hey, you know what, I struggle with communication. That in itself is an improvement in your communication, right? So just knowing what you're strong at, knowing what you're weak at, just taking that information to navigate these certain situations, right? So if you're trying to achieve something and you know you don't have a particular strength that is required to achieve that, then you know you may need to get support in that area. Or inversely, if you're strong in a certain area, you may want to make decisions or set goals that leverage that strength. Let's say you're a people person and you're really good at influencing people. Then you may want to get a job in sales where you can use that strength to help you be successful in your career. If you're a people person and you're good at influencing people, you shouldn't choose a job that isolates you, right? Or a job that puts you in a place where you're not around people or you're not able to use that strength. These are very basic examples, but take this information and apply it to how it fits in your life. So the last item when it comes to self-awareness is knowing what motivates you. I know what motivates me. I know money doesn't really motivate me, but I am a business owner and I have employees and my business has to make money. But impact motivates me, right? Knowing that my work is meaningful and is changing someone's life, that motivates me. So in order for me to leverage that as a motivator, I had to connect that somehow to making money. Whatever motivates you, you just have to make that the carrot, right? We've all seen the cartoon where they dangle the carrot in front of the horse's face in order to get it to move, right? We have to know ourselves enough to know what our carrot is, right? That's gonna get us motivated, that's gonna get us moving in the direction that we wanna go so that we can achieve with our life what we want to achieve, all right? But again, guys, I'm gonna make a series out of this. All right, so stay tuned. We're going to go deeper into each one of these topics. See, here's the thing. All of this stuff directly ties to your achievement of weight loss. It does. You have to know yourself. If you want to change anything about your life, you have to gain access to the control panels of your life. You have to gain access to the control panels of your emotions. You need to learn how to manage your emotions. You need to learn how to strategize motivating yourself. You need to know your personal values so that you can make decisions as far as who you choose to be in a romantic relationship with, what career path you choose, what friends you choose, what you choose to do with your spare time. You have to know your personal values so that you can make decisions that align you with yourself so that you can have peace, so that you can have flow, so that you can have ease. All right? Let me know in the comment section if this was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below. And as always, remember, the body that you want, oh, this is so good because it ties directly to this. The body that you want is owned by a higher version of yourself. So evolve. Peace.